All right, let's talk about one of the most debated endings in TV history. We're going to dive into a huge what if about the Dragon Queen.
I mean, think about it. The entire fate of Westeros came down to one single moment in that throne room. So what if Jon Snow didn't do it? What if Daenerys, the queen he loved, actually got her chance to rule? And this is where things get really interesting. Because, so many of us wanted her to win, to finally sit on the Iron Throne. But the reality, well, the reality of her reign might have unleashed a darkness on the world that was even scarier than the Night King's long winter. So to really get our heads around this alternate future, we've got to go back to that exact moment where everything changed and kind of rewrite that final act. We all remember it, right? She finally reaches out, she touches the Iron Throne, and then Jon, torn between his love for her and his duty, ends it all. But for our story, let's just say that dagger stays right where it is. Okay, so we have to get inside her head for a second. Where was Daenerys mentally at this point? She didn't see herself as just a conqueror. No, in her mind, she was a savior, a messiah destined to free the entire world. But this powerful belief, it was born from total isolation. Think about it. Jorah and Missandei, gone. Varys, a traitor. Even Tyrion, her own hand, is looking at her with pure fear. She's completely alone, more powerful than ever, and 100% convinced she is right. And this is the real turning point. Those bells, they ring out, the city surrenders, it's over. But she makes a choice. And that choice isn't to accept victory, it's to unleash hell on hundreds of thousands of people. This wasn't about winning the war anymore. It was a statement. It was her showing everyone exactly what her new world order was going to be built on. All right, so Daenerys is alive, she's on the throne. What do those first few days and weeks look like? Well, the answer is pretty simple, actually. Total, absolute submission. And why wouldn't they submit? I mean, look at what she has. The world's last dragon, basically a living, breathing weapon of mass destruction, an army of Unsullied who are loyal to the death, and a Dothraki horde that literally thinks she's a god. Who in Westeros could possibly stand up to that? Nobody. You have to realize, the smoking ruins of King's Landing was her coronation. That was the announcement. Every single lord, from the Reach all the way to the Westerlands, saw what happens when you resist her. So yeah, they're gonna bend the knee. But it's not out of love. It's not out of respect. It's out of the bone-chilling fear that if they don't, they're next. But here's the thing you have to remember about Dany. Taking the Iron Throne, that was never the endgame. Oh no, that was just step one. Her ambition was so much bigger, and honestly, so much more terrifying. Listen to her own words here, spoken to her armies right after she won. We will not be rulers, but liberators. We will liberate the entire world. That's not a queen promising to govern Westeros. That's a conqueror declaring a forever war, a war for her ideology. She wasn't stopping with Westeros. Her mission was global.
And this is the real conflict at the heart of her character, isn't it? On one hand, you have her vision, which sounds pretty good. Free the world from tyrants, bring justice for all. But then there's the reality for the people living under her rule. Her liberation is just an endless war. Her justice comes from the sky in the form of dragonfire. And in her better world, there's absolutely no room for anyone to disagree with her.
And you just know there would be resistance. No way would Sansa's North just give up the independence they fought and bled for. The Iron Islands, Dorne, these places have spent centuries fighting off outside rulers. It's who they are. But to Daenerys, they're wanting to rule themselves? That's not a valid political position. It's just another spoke on the wheel that she needs to break. Which brings us to the biggest problem she has, the one threat that can't be solved with Dragonfire. And that threat is the secret identity of the man she loves, Jon Snow. Or, well, Aegon Targaryen. The thing is, it doesn't matter that he didn't want the throne. That's irrelevant. According to the laws of Westeros, the same laws that legitimize the throne she's sitting on, he is the true heir. He has the better claim. His being alive is a direct challenge to her right to rule. And you can see how this would just spiral out of control, right? The secret's already out there. It's going to spread like wildfire. All those lords who aren't happy with Queen Daenerys, and trust me, there'd be a lot of them, they'd start plotting. They'd see Jon as this better, safer, more Westerosi option. And that road only leads to one place, another Targaryen civil war. A new dance of the dragons, ready to rip the whole kingdom apart again.
So that's the ultimate choice she'd face. Is she going to be the benevolent queen she always said she was, or is she going to become the exact thing she swore to destroy, a tyrant who would kill her own family to hold on to power?
So, when you really think about this alternate future, this world of endless war and another Targaryen civil war, it kind of makes you look at the ending we actually got a little differently, doesn't it?
And that's really the heart of her whole tragedy, right? What started as this noble crusade to break chains just twisted itself into this dangerous my way or the highway ideology. She got to a place where there was only one version of a good world, hers. And if you disagreed with that, if you even hesitated, you weren't just someone with a different opinion. You were an injustice. And what does she do to injustice? She burns it.
So, when you put the two paths side by side, it's pretty stark. On one side, you have the ending we got, a queen's tragic death and a kingdom that's broken, sure, but at peace. On the other side, an endless war of liberation, a world constantly being reshaped by dragonfire.
So maybe Jon's awful, heartbreaking choice wasn't just about stopping one person from becoming a tyrant. Maybe it was the only thing that could have prevented a global catastrophe, a forever war, led by a savior who no longer knew the difference between freeing people and destroying them.
It all comes down to this, really. What would her legacy have been? If she'd lived, would she have actually pulled it off and created that better world, becoming the greatest ruler ever? Or was she always destined to become the world's most terrifying, unstoppable conqueror? The scary thing is, the line between those two outcomes is razor thin. And maybe the most chilling part of all is that we were only one dagger away from finding out for sure.